All right, good evening. Thank you all for being here with us. This is our November 11th regular board meeting. We will start with calling the meeting to order at 6 p.m. Dr. Thomas, if you would conduct roll call for us.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Davis,
Here.
Ms. Gallagher,
Here.
Mrs. Davis,
Here.
Dr. Yeager, Dr. Gant,
Here.
Dr. Maddox, Dr. Blackman,
Here.
Dr. Anderson,
Here.
Attorney Hull.
Okay, thank you. So we do have a quorum. We will move forward with our moment of silence and then our pledge of allegiance. If we would start with a moment of silence. Thank you. If you would join us in saying the pledge, if you're able, please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We will move forward to item 2. These are our recognitions and awards. Dr. Thomas?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. At this time, I will turn it over to Ms. Beth Moore and Mr. Lawrence Harris for our awards and recognitions.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, President and Board of Education. Our November's Employee of the Month is a stellar product of our Clarke County School District. And this month, we have a Barrow Buddy. Our principal of Barrow Elementary is joining us tonight to help us recognize a member of her team. So I'm going to call forth Dr. Ellen Sabatini to come and talk about our Employee of the Month.
Great. Hey, Khadijah. Congratulations to Barrow fifth grade teacher, Khadijah Arnold, on being selected as the Clarke County School District Employee of the Month. There's so many exceptional things to say about Khadijah. One thing that makes her really stand out is her thirst for knowledge. Khadijah is always looking for ways to grow and excel as a teacher, whether it's completing advanced degrees, taking endorsement courses, asking to change grade levels to get new experiences, or taking on leadership roles in our school and the district. Her thirst for knowledge extends to her students and getting to know them as individuals. She spends time learning about their interests, attending their activities outside of school, and connecting with their families. She always has the best interests of her students, and every day is a new day, no matter how challenging the day before was. She models for her colleagues and our students what it means to be a lifelong learner and a truly dedicated educator. Nominated by her colleague, Jan Mullins, who's here, had this to say about her. Miss Arnold, herself a stellar product of Clarke County School District and a Barrow Buddy, is an extraordinary teacher and role model for students and staff alike. She is constantly expanding her education and experience to make her wise beyond her young years, and she is generous sharing with our staff new ideas and useful ways to use emerging technologies to motivate, fascinate, and give students authentic vehicles of communication and real audiences for their voice and learning, which is so Miss Mullins. She suggested that we all have our students set up web-based portfolios to highlight their work, their year and their class, and their special memories along this journey in fifth grade. Students were able to select a favorite part of their sharing at fall parent conferences and will continue to add to it during the year. She is a talented, wonderful woman and teacher that Clarke County can be proud of. Khadijah Arnold makes us better together. Congratulations, Khadijah. Socially distant.
Congratulations, Ms. Arnold. In addition to your certificate and the nice words that were said to you tonight, you will also receive $1,000 worth of product that has been donated by our local partners in collaborations with the Athens Area Chamber of Commerce. So congratulations. Now tonight we will be saluting our veterans. As you know, today is Veterans Day. So today the Clarke County School District joins our nation to honor military personnel who served in the United States Armed Forces. We especially want to recognize our staff members who continue to serve our communities even after their commitment to service branch is completed. 59 district employees responded to our survey to share their service history. As you can see, we have a full house here tonight because of a special presentation by the top cadets from the JROTC programs at Cedar Shoals High School and Clarke Central High School. I will now introduce our Cedar Shoals High School cadet. Since his freshman year, Jose Gonzalez has been a part of the JROTC program and is now the battalion commander for Cedar Shoals High School and a member of the Raider competition team. Jose gained interest in the program after hearing other students talk about how much fun they had in the class and how much they learned. He credits JROTC with helping him learn how to cooperate with others, become a better public speaker, and motivate other students. After graduating high school, Jose hopes to attend West Point Military Academy or another college where he can utilize the Army ROTC scholarship. Welcome, Jose. I would now like to introduce our cadet from Clarke Central High School. Ms. Zaylee Gant has been part of the JROTC program at Clarke Central High School since a freshman. Zaylee became interested in the JROTC program because of her curiosity about the military and hoped by participating, it would help her break out of her shell. She found she enjoys the real-world experiences she's gained from the program. She attributes JROTC to improving her leadership skills, teaching her about specific leadership style, and providing opportunities to practice soft skills. Zaylee is also an athlete participating in varsity track and volleyball for all 4 years. Please welcome Zaylee Gann. I will now turn our program over to Jose and Zaylee for this special recognition.
Hi everyone, I'm Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Zaylee Gant, and I'm the battalion commander at Clarke Central High School.
Good evening, everyone. I'm the cadet colonel for Cedar Shoals High School and battalion commander. Just a heads up, I'm currently recovering from a lost voice, so bear with me here.
And today we're going to talk to you guys about different veterans in the Clarke County community and how they continue to serve every day. Okay. So first, I'm going to just give a little history. Veterans Day, the first Veterans Day was November 11th, 1918, also known as the War to End All Wars. It was originally called Armistice Day, but was changed to Veterans Day after World War II because there were more veterans. Unlike Memorial Day, some people don't know the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day, but Veterans Day honors living and dead veterans. And we have over 19 million veterans in the U.S., and we're happy to have some of them in Clarke County.
And here we have the 7 Army values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. And today we each chose one veteran in Clarke County that we believe exhibits the best out of all of these values.
So the first is loyalty, and the Army defines that as bearing faith and allegiance to the U.S. Constitution, the Army, your unit, and other soldiers. And in my opinion, Dr. Huff exhibits this trait. He returned to Clarke Central after going there as a student, and he just commits every day to the community, to bettering the community and us as students at Clarke Central.
Next, we have Sergeant First Class Bradford. He used to teach at Cedar Shoals High School, but he retired a little bit after my sophomore year ended. He was an amazing teacher, and he always took pride in his drill. Like, he had one of the best voices I've ever heard, and he always looked happy while doing it, especially during the Christmas parades. And he didn't have to, but he came by for the Cedar Shoals home competition. He guided cadets and supervised. Especially, I knew that he was like looking out after us when we were on the team run, and one of our cadets said a cuss word, and out of nowhere we heard "watch your mouth," and yeah, I just knew that was Sergeant Bradford.
Okay, so the next trait is duty, and it's defined as fulfilling your obligations. And to me, Miss Underwood exhibits this trait perfectly. She was my counselor from 9th to 11th grade, and she has since transitioned to the mental health counselor at Clarke Central. And she's great at her job. She really inspires me to be the best version of myself and other students as well, and advocates for us every day.
For duty, I chose First Sergeant Jenkins. He's always on the move. Like, I never know where he is in the building. He's always teaching his class, and right after, he goes and does whatever else needs to be done, like work on the obstacle course, set up rifles for rifle practice. He's just ahead of the game always.
So the next trait is respect, and that's just defined as treating other people as they should be treated. Mr. William Lance, also known as Coach Lance at Clarke Central High School, exhibits this trait. He's the softball coach at my school, and he really encourages each of the women on the team to be a better version of themselves, and he really encourages them and tries to better a relationship with them. He also is a special education teacher at Clarke Central, and he just treats all his students with kindness and thoughtfulness, which just he just embodies respect.
Awesome.
Next is Sergeant First Class Kenneth Washington. He came, I believe, the beginning of this year, started teaching at Cedar Shoals, and the first day I met him, he was so respectful, polite. He's still the same way now. Except he says a lot of jokes now. But I can always talk to him. He's polite. Everyone trusts him. Everyone's telling him his problems. And he's always saying, ma'am or sir, treating us as an adult, because that's what we're growing up to be.
Love it.
The S is for selfless service, and the Army defines this as putting the welfare of the nation, the Army, and your subordinates before your own. A Clarke County School District employee, Mr. Sweetser, he exhibits this trait. He's a part of the field maintenance, he does field maintenance, and his supervisor, Mr. Mark Bailey, says that he never says no. He accomplishes any task given to him, and he's a great team player. He just puts the schools in Clarke County before himself.
Awesome.
For selfless service, I chose Major Williams. You can't miss him. He's always picking on me, making sure that, I don't know, whenever I think I'm right, he just proves me wrong. But in a good way, he's making me better. And it's not because he has to, because he wants to. He's always making sure we're on the right path, getting ready for the real world. And he does things like he has a little store. He doesn't need the store to make money in the JROTC building, but he does it for the students, to have a little treat. Like, he can take it away whenever he wants, like he said. But yeah, he just does things. He puts other people in front of himself.
Awesome.
Okay, so the H is for honor, and honor is defined as someone who just meets all of the leadership qualities. They're everything in one. And that I chose Miss Nikita Johnson for this trait. She's a part of the transportation department here in Clarke County, and she just exhibits honor because she honors her students by being respectful, and because of that, they comply with what she wants them to do. And one of her supervisors says that she fulfills her obligations and she's very diligent. Thank you.
Awesome.
For honor, I have First Sergeant Clarke, the opposition. He left teaching from Cedar Shoals and went to Clarke Central. Everyone who knows him gives him a hard time, but it's no hard feelings. But he still communicates with Cedar students and parents, especially like radio competitions and even in public whenever he just comes across one of them, he's very respectful and talks to them. I remember him from Raider season my freshman year. He always pushed us to the limit. He always made sure we wouldn't give up. I sure didn't want to give up, or else, he'll be pretty hard on me. But yeah, he just showed me what it's like to push ourselves, and you really need someone like that in your life.
Okay, so next is integrity, and the Army defines this as doing what's right legally and morally. I chose Sergeant Holman. He's a JROTC instructor at my school. One thing about him that I love and the rest of the instructors for JROTC is they really teach you about how to be successful in the real world, because high school prepares you for college, but not really how to move about in the real world. And this class is just perfect. He teaches us things like about your rights and how to go about job interviews. So he does a great job at teaching what's legally and morally right.
Wow.
For integrity, I chose Sergeant First Class Crimmins. He recently became a pastor. I don't know which church, but that's a really great accomplishment for him. He's always doing the right thing, always positive, always wanting to help people, especially during one of my difficult times during sophomore year. He was always checking up on me, telling me, keep your head up, everything will be all right. And I didn't say thank you to him, but I really appreciate that from him. And he's still the same person I met 2 years ago. That's when he started teaching. So it's very rare to see someone be their true self.
Okay, and the last trait is personal courage, and this is defined as being able to face fear, danger, and adversity. I chose Sergeant First Class Lorinda Harris. He exhibits this trait because he just always stands in his beliefs. Colonel McMickle says that he is a servant in his church and in his community. And one of the cadets in the program at Clarke Central says he's always positive and helping other people in need.
Awesome.
For personal courage, I chose Sergeant Anthony Postero, the father of my best friend and also one of my fathers in a way. He welcomed me with open arms and always had my back from day one. And he's never afraid to speak what's on his mind. He's always making sure me and my friends stay out of trouble. We tried to sleep in the cold on a trampoline one winter, but he came out of nowhere. He told us to go back inside. Even though it seems like he's a buzzkill, he's always making sure we're safe. And that's what I love from him. He's not afraid to do what's right.
Awesome.
You should stand up for it.
Okay, so the last thing we just wanted to speak to all about is Clarke Central and Cedar Shoals, both JROTC programs, have been taking part in a challenge called the 22 Push-Up Challenge. And basically where since November 1st, we have been doing 22 push-ups a day, and we will end on November 22nd, because you do 22 push-ups for 22 days to basically raise awareness for the average number of veterans who commit suicide a day in the United States, which is 22. And so we encourage you all to participate for the remaining days in the month. It doesn't take much. You don't have to do regular push-ups. They can be modified just to raise awareness for the cause. You can also donate at activeheroes.org.
That was a video of me doing push-ups, but I guess it's not working. But we do encourage you all to participate. After all, we're better together. Thank you.
If we can have all of our veterans who are honored tonight stand. And I'll be doing my push-ups tonight. There we go. We'll do them together. Right. All right. So congratulations. And again, happy Veterans Month to all of our veterans in CCSD. Thank you for your service. Thank you to our wonderful students for being here tonight and for your kind words and the values and traits that our JROTC members show. So we're now going to move over to the last part of our recognitions tonight to talk about our Teacher and Paraprofessional of the Year. So every day, our team gives their time, resources, and skills, and most importantly, their hearts, to make a difference in the lives of students and families. Tonight, we will name our District Teacher of the Year, who will move on to participate in the state competition.
All right, it is with excitement and honor that we announce our 3 finalists for Teacher of the Year. So just a little background, we've been working on this in the background. It's been a very, very exciting process. So every school awarded a Teacher of the Year and a Paraprofessional of the Year. We will be announcing the District Teacher of the Year tonight among our 3 finalists, and we'll be surprising our Paraprofessional of the Year tomorrow by visiting their school. They don't know that yet, so we're that's going to be exciting. Yes, and we'll bring all 21 or 42 awardees to our new board office in January, so you'll get to meet all of them and their families. So just giving you a little background on our competition. So our Teacher of the Year awardees for our district competition, they submitted an application, and we modeled that application process after the Georgia Teacher of the Year application. Because not only do we want them to represent Clarke County School District, that we believe that we have amazing teachers that can also represent the state of Georgia and then go on to the national competition. There were essay questions that these individuals filled out that talked about their teaching practice, as well as their dedication to their students, as well as their school community. They included recommendation letters from their peers and their school administrators. And then on Monday, these 3 individuals had retired teachers and current teachers come into their classroom to evaluate their teaching practices. So I just want to recognize that evaluation selection committee. We had Wanda Culpepper, who is a retired teacher from Clarke County, who worked in Clarke County for 26 plus years. We had Jen Sook Abbott, who is our current Teacher of the Year, who's at Barnett Shoals Elementary School. And we had Glenda Huff, who is semi-retired. I begged her to come back half-time, so she works on my team. If she's listening, she can come back full-time, but she also participated in the selection. So at this time, I want to recognize our 3 finalists, if they will stand when I call their name. So our first finalist is Tanya Hudson, the media specialist at Chase Street Elementary. Our second finalist is Connor Naughton. He is a math teacher at Hillsman Middle School. And then our third finalist is Lakeisha Vaughn Jones, who is our career and college instructor at Coral Middle School. So now the announcement of our winner, drum roll please. So representing the Clarke County School District as our District Teacher of the Year is Tanya Hudson from Chase Street Elementary School. So we're gonna take some pictures with all of our finalists and our new winner.
Didn't quite expect a party, but okay.
Good start. Let's adjourn now while we. This is a good time. That's it. Sorry, we're.
Dr. Gant, that does conclude our recognitions. I haven't been on such an emotional roller coaster of feelings. Like they were so, I was laughing at the kids and they had me crying for a moment. But this is what it's about. And so I really enjoy, I think I could tell that we all enjoyed just hearing the voices of the children and what they value and appreciate and the adults that serve them. And so we're appreciative of our veterans and we congratulate Ms. Arnold and also our Teachers of the Year. And thank you all for allowing us to take this time to do some celebrations.
Awesome.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. Yes, I think we would all agree that this is our favorite part of the meeting. We will move forward with item 3. And again, yes, congratulations to everyone. We'll move forward to item 3. This is the amending or adopting of our agenda. The floor is open.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Dr. Maddox, a second by Ms. Davis. Any questions, discussion, or concerns? Okay, all in favor of adopting the agenda, if you would raise your hands and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same sign? And any abstaining? Okay, we'll move forward to item 4. This is our public comment. And just a reminder for those who are here for public comment, thank you for your participation. But just a reminder that the comments are limited to 3 minutes and that personal attacks will not be tolerated. The individuals I have listed are Lizzie Saltz, Diane Dunstan, Dr. Diane Dunstan, and Ms. Lee Smith. And so in that order, if you would be prepared to come up front, Ms. Lizzie Saltz.
Notice the gentleman with the white isn't here tonight. Hello again. As you may recall, last month I presented the Swiss cheese risk management model focusing on the HVAC slice. Oh boy, if I'd known then what I know now. But first, I can't imagine how unrelentingly exhausting running a school district during a pandemic is. I applaud you. You've had so many victories. In-school shot clinics with the 5 to 11s now, ironing out PP delivery kinks, reviving parent-teacher board advisory councils. That's super exciting. And if you still can bear to follow the news, you've heard Georgia just passed 25,000 COVID deaths. Scientists warn a 5th wave is coming. It's just a matter of time. I know it's depressing. I'm sick of it. You're sick of it. We're all sick of it. And we're sick at heart. And we really kind of are enjoying the fact that there's a little bit of a lull. But back to that HVAC slice. So not only do we know indoor air quality has a very well documented effect on learning and the spread of everyday viruses, it's inextricably linked to COVID spread. So you thought you had that part down with operations installation of ionizers in every single CCSD HVAC vent almost complete. I unfortunately come bearing the nauseating news that the I-Wave non-point bipolar ionizers that CCSD bought by the truckload because sources you trusted said they were effective are not at all. Some scientists are even worried the way the particles collide in them might even cause damaging chemical interactions, not just not be effective, but maybe be bad. So what kind of craven capitalist endangers the lives of school children by touting air purification rates that not even one peer-reviewed article or independent test has confirmed? They made claims based on internal tests made with the air volume of this, a shoebox. 2 labs tried to recreate the results with no success. Not one viral micron under 0.1 was captured. Who knows how much lower CCSD's positives might have been last August if you had been advised to go with the tried and true CDC gold standard of ventilation and filtration. One open window, one Corsi Rosenthal box, one outdoor learning period would do more to reduce COVID spread than 10 eye waves. Next time we have a significant purchase relating to health, please assemble an independent team of experts unallied with the company that stands to profit from the purchase. We are lucky to have armies of scientists right next door. Many are CCDS parents. They are ready to serve. I'm not a scientist, but I admire their smarts, and with this coat I am wearing in their honor, I encourage you to take advantage of the scientists and their knowledge. Please act. The fifth wave is coming.
Thank you. Dr. Dunstan?
Good evening. You will allow me also. You've had a lot of hands.
Hold on one second. If we can hold that and speak
And-
into the microphone.
Okay. Thank you. I follow suit. Thank you so much for allowing me to come in and greet you. I am Dr. Diane Dunstan, physician, pediatrician, fellow of the American Academy of Pediatrics, and so excited that you welcomed me back. Thank you, Dr. Watley, Dr. Thomas, for allowing Innovative Healthcare Institute to come into our high schools at the urging of neighborhood leaders to start the process of getting the most difficult individuals their COVID-19 vaccines. It has been great. Yesterday, we were at Cedar Shoals, and today at Clarke Central. We had the community rally with us, and we had the children second dose submit their names into a raffle. One lucky child from each school received a $500 scholarship to help with their educational expenses. And I just want you to know how excited I am and how appreciative the community is. And I want you to know that you have partners who are experts. So please don't make decisions on the advice of people who do not know and understand what is going on in a pandemic. Our children should not be put out of school because they don't have routine immunizations. We can get the immunizations to them. And when I found that out last week, I went into overdrive. I called the State Department of Public Health, get me the vaccines and I'll get them to the children and I'll get them back in school. They said, Dr. Dunstan, you don't have to do that. We have a Department of Public Health here in Athens, Clarke County. You have free clinics. Our children should have everything and anything that they need. You have to understand that we are in a pandemic. We still are. Our families are in crisis. I'm telling you that I expect every child who was put out to be back in. I will help you get immunizations. I will help you find the children. We have people in the community who will help. There is a lack of trust of the system, the healthcare system, the systemic governing bodies, Athens, Clarke County. You've got to understand, people are afraid they'll stay at home. They'd rather die because they don't trust too many of us. But we can work together as a community, break down those barriers. Our children's lives are at stake. No, I'm here to help. Thanks.
Thank you. Mrs. Lee Smith?
Good evening to everyone. James Baldwin was masterful with his quotes. I recently read one that holds true. It simply said, "Not everything faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed if it is not faced." Athens Clarke County School Board has a glaring issue that needs to be faced. On October 14th, 21, a school board member accosted Dr. Zenona Thomas after a school board meeting. Her actions were unprofessional, insulting, disrespectful, and disgraceful, quite frankly. Are we in a time and place where it is okay for a school board member to disrespect our superintendent? This school board member sets a poor example for every category of people that she represents: principals, teachers, parents, students, and frankly, all of the citizens of Athens, Georgia. We find ourselves in a situation where violence and harsh behavior of some students on the streets and in our schools are rampant. We should expect our school board members to set a good example. We should expect our school board members to be the solution, not a part of the problem. But in the last few years, we have had school board members that have very questionable behavior. 3 school board members. One board member yelled at the past superintendent in his office, pointed his finger in his face. Another school board member attended a read-in at an African-American church, read a poem that dripped with racist, inappropriate language, including the N-word. So 1 month ago today, a board member revealed herself as a board member that is willing to disrespect the superintendent. Principals, teachers, students are held accountable for their actions. They're held accountable for inappropriate conduct. I respectfully request that school board members are held accountable as well. Nothing will change if it is not faced. It is time for school board members who behave badly to be held accountable. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our public comment. That was item 4. We'll move forward with the board president report. I don't have any additional items from last week. I do want to confirm that we did get dates for our professional development. And we talked about those dates last week, but I just want to let you know I heard back from GSBA and those dates are in fact confirmed. I think it was March 31st and whatever that third Thursday is in February. Okay. We'll move forward with item 6. This is a superintendent's report. Dr. Thomas.
Yes, ma'am, and I will be brief. Ms. Palmer just asked me to share that we will begin the one-on-ones between board members and superintendent that were requested in January, just knowing that this is kind of a busy time of year for everyone. We will also begin using Assembly in January, and the plan is to train board members at the December meeting. That training is about 30 or 40 minutes for that overview. And the only other, and it kind of piggybacks on what Dr. Dunstan was talking about with community support. We did have a meeting yesterday. There was a meeting last week with some community members regarding supporting some of our neighborhoods. We have a couple of people who've really been reaching out to bring community centers back, and we were looking to start with our Nellie B housing community. As you all know, we have had some significant issues on our buses and behaviors in our schools, so we thought we would start small and try to spread out. And we did, and Mr. Fred Smith opened up East Athens Development Center for us. And we ended up having over 40 people that showed up this week from the school system, housing authority, community, area coaches, area volunteers. And so it was a huge turnout yesterday, and we've already started immediate action steps for how we can support our students and our families, but also support our staff and our schools, support our transportation workers, and us working collaboratively to set expectations, but to support our students and families in meeting those expectations. So we're really excited about the work that's going to move forward and seeing so many people come out to support that initiative. And I said that was my last thing, but one more, don't forget we have our Family Fun Day Saturday, and it's supposed to be sunny, but it's supposed to be cold, but we are really, really excited. I've talked to so many people that are planning to have tables out and plan to be out to meet our families. So we really look forward and hope to have everyone join us on Saturday at Southeastern Park. That concludes my announcements.
Thank you. I do have a quick question with that update. I think that's a relatively new update with the efforts that the school district is doing with the Nellie B Community Center.
Yes.
Is that something that it's going to be school district, or are there other community partners that are going to be like partnering with the school district? I know that there have been a couple of organizations in that area who have tried pretty hard to reach out to those families. And so
Yes,
I'm curious.
so it's not school district, but Mr. Ernest Elder had started trying to develop a youth empowerment, a youth development group. Ms. Linda has been a part of those meetings, and he has pulled people in the community together, Parks and Recreation, East Athens Development, public housing, different mentoring groups. So Mr. Elder kind of started spearheading that work, and then he's so excited he was going to try to open up every community center overnight. And so we said, okay, let's start small and try to get a strong model going. And we had talked about how the school district could maybe partner with our ARPA funds. How could we help with tutors? Dante Robinson's foundation is coming in with some literacy and tutoring. Something with ending bullying, Ms. Linda, I'm looking at you. There's a bullying prevention.
I can end bullying.
I can't, thank you. I Can End Bullying group that's coming in. So it's ended up being a large group of people. Again, Little League coaches. So he has opened it up, and I think just by word of mouth and that spreading, people have all come together. A variety of groups, neighborhood leaders were there from Family Connections. So it seems to have been a lot of people kind of trying to do the same work who we have finally gotten together. We were here 2 weeks ago, actually last week, and that was when I shared just concerns with our transportation workers, their safety, feeling safe, issues that have happened on the bus. And the group just kind of came together. It was about 8-10 of us and said, we have to meet next week. This is not something we can keep putting off. So we called a meeting. Mr. Smith got us a place, and everyone put calls out to their respective people. So it's not led by us, but we are working in partnership with all of those groups. And we did ask for representatives from the schools that feed in. So I think every school had a representative, Gaines, Hillsman, and Cedar. If they didn't, there was like our school social workers were there, Dr. Watley. So we're working with the community, but it's not our initiative.
It's not like district led. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. I'm really glad to hear that there's been like movement on our side, because I know that we do have the goal of being wanting to leverage those community partnerships. I know that there has been a critical need for our community centers to be open. And so I'm both happy, especially that the school district can be a part of it. And I'm sad that it's taken this long, because we've had a lot of students and we've had a lot of need in those communities for a long time. And so I'm excited to see where our partnership and how we can help those efforts. All right, we will move forward then if that concludes your report, Dr. Thomas. Okay, we'll move forward to item 7, and this is our financial report.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Thomas. To kind of recap where we're at right now, last time I presented the financial statements, it was the last set of financials for fiscal year 21. So now we are a few months into fiscal year 22, and we're kind of playing catch up. So we've had an opportunity to close out last fiscal year, book all those accruals, now open up the new fiscal year, and now we're 3 months in. So that's why you see July, August, and September, 3 full sets of financial statements. We did go over these in detail at the Fiscal Responsibility Committee. And what I'd like to recommend is that we just jump forward straight to the September financial reports, just because they're cumulative in nature. And looking at the September financials, you'll get a good perspective on the other 2 as well. So if you just open up the September financials. So 3 months in, we received 13% of our budgeted revenues compared to 10.5% last year. Just a reminder, we're really early on in the year, and that almost 3%, that 2.5% difference, that's just due to the timing of when we're collecting our property tax revenue. We really won't get a good feeling for where we're at in terms of collections until probably the December or January timeframe. Can you go back one? For expenditures, we spent 19.4% of our budget compared to 15% last year. I don't think that's anything that's alarming, considering we're in school face-to-face this year. We've got normal expenditures for operations, for supplies, for contracted services, where last year we were completely remote, so we did see some savings there. Even though we are above where we were last year, when we're looking at our monthly budget, we're right on track. When you combine those revenues and expenditures for where we are, what we've spent compared to what's budgeted for the month, it does look like right now we are at least a couple $100,000 above that $6.5 million decrease that we anticipate in our fund balance change. So that's good news. It's the one thing that's in green in here in the summary sheet. And then overall notes, I did make some tweaks to these reports. For this fiscal year, I thought it would present the monthly data better. If you go to the next page, Lisa, and then scroll on down. It's okay. So one is the fund balance right there at the top of the screen. Instead of presenting that as a dollar figure, since we're always talking in percentages, the green line is 15%. And then what I'll do is I'll present the fund balance as a percentage down there at the bottom, so we can kind of peg it and keep it consistent from year to year to that 15% benchmark. So that's one change that I made. And if you scroll down to the statement of revenues, for both the statement of revenues and the statement of expenditures, in the budget versus actual revenues, I changed up that graph. The blue line that you see kind of snaking up on the bottom left-hand part of your screen, that is our month-to-month budget. So at the end of the year, at the end of June, you can see the overall anticipated budget expenditures of $171 million. And right now in September, that small little yellow triangle, you can see that we're right on track with our anticipated monthly expenditures. Go on to the next one too. So expenditures as well, I updated that graph. You can see that's a little bit more smooth in terms of how we anticipate to spend money from month to month. And that yellow triangle you can see is almost perfectly fits in that blue line there. And then finally, our cash flow projection. I did mention overall right now, it's really preliminary, but we're looking at anticipating at least a couple $100,000 of savings at this point. As we progress throughout the year, we'll get a much better picture. Obviously, 3 months in of actuals, where we've got 9 months of projected figures. So those are the financials through September, the changes that I've made to those graphs. Does anybody have any questions before I move on? Okay, Lisa, if you'd open up the Senate Bill 68, September, it's the one that's up, and it's right in the middle. There we go, that one. This is a new supplemental report this year that's going to be required by Senate Bill 68. It was a new law passed to really try to encourage transparency for board members to not just look at the general fund What I've been presenting to you on a monthly basis and what we just went over in that 5 or 6 page financial report, that is all kind of smushed together and contained in that top line item up there, the general fund regular. So we've got the total revenues, the total expenses for the general fund. It's all contained on one line item. You can see the budgeted revenues, the budgeted expenditures, any kind of transfers in and out, decreasing or increasing the budget. You can see what has been spent or received to date. You can also see any kind of encumbrances that are going to kind of affect your available budget. And then over on the right-hand column is your available budget as of the end of September. And so the state, through the Senate Bill 68, they want you to not only look at the general fund, but they want you to be able to see all of the funds throughout the district. So you can see we've got dozens and dozens of different funds that we keep track of. In naming conventions or I guess ranges of accounts, anything that's kind of a one that all collapses into our general fund for financial reporting to the state. Anything that starts with a 2, that is our debt service. So whenever we're paying off bonds, interest and principal, that's going to be in the fund 205 there. All of our capital expenditures, the stuff that SPLOST reports on, that's going to be in the fund 300 series. Almost all of our federal programs are going to be housed in those 400 series there. If you keep on scrolling down, we'll have our 500 series, which is the majority of which are state-funded programs like pre-K. And as you keep going down, Fund 600, we've got a separate fund for each school's school food nutrition account. And then finally down there in the 800 series, we've got a different fund for each school level principal account. The intent of this is just to be completely transparent, so you've got a full picture of the school district's financials, not just general fund. I'll be sharing this on a monthly basis. If you have any questions about it, any funds whatsoever, just let me know, and I'll be happy to answer those. I won't go over it in depth each month, but it's just gonna be more of a supplemental report so you guys have the information.
What was that 700 series?
I think most of the 700 series, the GDOE defines this as funds held for others, so kind of in a fiduciary capacity. So even though we've got, okay, I take that back. Most of the 700 series have been done away with. The one that is remaining, that undesignated account, we have received, it's kind of a refund of flexible accounts that employees have saved into. That money gets refunded back to the district to be spent on employees. So we spend it on employee recognition, employee appreciation, stuff of that nature. So that's the one account in Fund 707 that you see.
So we came across one fund where I think, can't remember specifically what it was, but there was, again, kind of like this money that came back to the district because of, I don't remember what triggered it, but it was the first time I had seen that, and I think you explained that. So I was thinking maybe that's where this money, does it end up in the 700 series?
That's what it is. I think
Okay.
we're talking about the same thing. It's when employees set money aside into
Right.
like I'm trying to think of the right
We'll go
name
back and
of
think,
it.
yeah, I'll definitely follow up with you
Okay.
because I think
Will do.
I think I know what that is. I
Okay.
want to make sure. Okay.
I've got one question. Do we make TRS contributions monthly, or do they are the same thing with the PSER money? Is that done on a monthly basis? Is it just prorated throughout the year?
It is on a monthly basis, and it's based on that month's payroll. So even though we have bi-monthly payroll, I believe we only transmit to TRS once per month. And then the next report that we need to go to is down there at the bottom, the supplemental reports. Here you can see what we spent on legal services. We did bring to the Fiscal Responsibility Committee and talk about engaging another attorney, which we do have a little bit of expenses with. That's reviewing a spectrum lease contract that this other attorney has expertise in. So we have done a little bit of work with him. The rest of the expenditures so far this year have been with Hall Booth Smith. We've had one expenditure for board member travel. I think it was $5 or $3. So not a lot to report there. And then the second report, the supplemental report, that's all of our significant invoices over 10,000 and under 80,000. I think maybe I actually just did anything over 80. So, if there were $200,000, check to TRS, it would be in there. Finally, I didn't include this month a report for CARES and ARPA. And that's because I'm working with James Barlament. He puts together all of our district's dashboards and maintains our dashboards. And he shared with me the first iteration of the CARES and ARPA expenditure dashboard this afternoon. So it still needs a little bit of tweaking, but before next board meeting, we'll definitely have that in shape to share with you guys. And that's all. That concludes my report, unless there's any other questions.
I love it. They're so clear. I really appreciate the level of detail that you give us in these reports. I spend hours actually, sometimes just going through them because it's just so enlightening to actually start to see a picture of exactly how money is moving around the district. So thank
Good
you.
deal.
I got, so at our fiscal responsibility meeting, you mentioned, I think it was at the meeting, you mentioned the $25,000 for Cedar and Central, for athletics.
I did hear back, get a definitive answer from GDOE, from our federal programs director at the state, and we are not allowed to use taxpayer money to supplement the athletic programs. So we are not able to give them an infusion of $25,000 for ticket sale loss that they were requesting. We also looked at using CARES money or ARPA funds. And if we could somehow extend that to all students, we could use CARES or ARPA funds. But the concern from the state was, these are only athletes that you'd be supplementing. How would you extend that to the rest of the school students? So right now we're kind of in a holding place there.
So it's a no.
It's a no.
It's a no.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on why they needed that?
The athletics budget at the high school level, it is solely funded from ticket revenue. So football gate sales, basketball gate sales, that revenue is collected, goes into one pot of money. Then there is a budget for all sports. I know there's other sports that drive money, but those are the ones that make most of the money. But for the most part, it is a self-funding program that relies solely on ticket sales, as well as any other kind of pay-to-play or I don't know if there's student fees. Maybe at one time, I think we had some student fees that involved uniforms or T-shirts or something of that nature. But really, the money that is raised from gate sales funds all of the programs. And due to COVID, either we had to restrict number of tickets that were sold, capacity, we didn't hold games altogether. So it made their program have to operate on a much leaner budget than they would have in the past. And so we were just investigating a way to try to make them whole.
Awesome.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Thomas, is it your recommendation?
Yes, ma'am, it is my recommendation that the financial reports be accepted as presented by Mr. Schieneman.
Okay.
So moved.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Davis, a second by Dr. Maddox. Any follow-up questions? Okay, all in favor, if you would raise your hands and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstaining? Okay, we will move forward to item 8. These are our policies to be posted for 4 weeks for public comment. Dr. Yeager, I'll turn the floor over to you in case there's any additional information you need to add.
No, and I would recommend we turn the floor over to Mr. Harris. Only if there's questions.
Yeah, if
Only
there's any.
questions.
Is there any?
He has nothing.
Okay. All right. Floor is open for a motion.
So moved.
Was that Ms. Hall? Okay. Ms. Gallagher with the second. Ms. Hall, your motion, is it for 8-1 or 8-1 and 2?
8-1 and 2.
Okay, 8-1 and 2. Okay, and Ms. Gallagher understands that. Okay, questions?
I have just a minor correction. There is a statement in the first paragraph, I think on AB 882. If you can just check, it seems like that sentence is out of place. It was in.
Can you speak a little bit louder in your mic,
I'm
Ms.
sorry.
Davis?
I think I saw a sentence that looked like it was out of place in number 1. Okay, let me see if I can find it. But it looks like it's a duplicated sentence, so we should be able to find that pretty easily. And it's not anything that changes the context of it. It just seemed like it was in the wrong place.
And I would just note that the district can at any time make technical edits to any of these policies without our vote.
Without consent. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Then if I find it again, I'll email it to Dr. Thomas.
Thank you, and then I'll get that.
Excellent.
Sorry,
Thank
we'll
you.
get it corrected.
Okay, great.
All right, wonderful. Any other questions or comments? All right, all in favor of 8-1 and 8-2 being posted for 4 weeks for public comment, if you would raise your hands and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same sign. And any abstaining? All right, we'll move forward to number 9, and these are our policies to be adopted, rescinded, revised, or reviewed. This is policy 9-1, or policy DJE, excuse me. The floor is open for a motion. Okay, Mr. Davis made a motion.
Second.
Okay, Dr. Maddox made a second. Any follow-up questions, clarifications, or concerns?
I don't believe there was any public comment on this one, right? Yeah.
All right, so no public comment. All right, thank you. Any other questions or concerns? All right, all in favor of adopting policy DJE, if you would raise your hands and say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed?
Aye.
Aye. And any abstaining? Okay. So that motion carries. That policy will be adopted, DJE. We'll move forward to number 10. These are our personnel recommendations. Dr. Thomas?
Yes, ma'am. It is my recommendation that the personnel report and the addendum be approved as presented.
Okay. And that was the report and the addendum, right?
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
what okay.
Sorry, report and addendum items 10.1 and 10.2 be approved as presented.
Okay. The floor is open.
So moved.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Hull made a motion.
Second.
Ms. Davis made a second. Any follow-up questions or concerns or clarifications? All right, all in favor of adopting the personnel recommendations, if you would, raise your hands and say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And any abstaining? Okay, that motion carries. We'll move forward to number 11, and these are our consent items. So the approval of the October 7th work session minutes, October 14th board meeting minutes, field trips, and the request to submit the RFP for 21st Century Grant for high school students. The floor is open.
So moved.
Okay, Dr. Maddox.
Second.
Ms. Hull made seconded it. Any follow-up questions? Okay, all in favor, if you would, raise your hands and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstaining? Okay, we'll move forward to number 12. These are our other action items. 12.1 is the action to approve the resolution to enact the redistricting map. Were there any follow-up questions or points of clarification that we needed before we open the floor for a motion? Ms. Davis?
Maybe it's under discussion that I have these, not questions necessarily, but are we going to, we had a healthy discussion in our work session about our number of districts and how we're, how the maps are drawn and how we're actually, everybody gets to keep their seat, which is fine. Obviously, that eliminates controversy. But are we going to have further discussions around the 9-member board? Because I heard a lot of conversation about maybe changing that or going after our legislators to change that. Or are we done with that conversation entirely now?
I think that depends on the board, and please weigh in. I think where we left off last week is that right now the board prefers to move forward with the current draft that we have. But Mr. Pruitt also shared with us that if or should the board feel that they want to have that conversation, we don't have to wait I think it's 10 years, right? That we can have that. So I would say it's up to the board. If the majority of the board at some point in the future feels that that is a conversation we need to have and we need to get input on and have more intentional discussions around, I think that is what would determine that. But from my understanding, where we are now is we're resolved with what this is right now.
Thank you.
Did anyone understand the conversation to be different, or did I miss something? Okay. All right, we'll open the floor for a motion. Mr. Davis, okay, thank you.
I'll second.
All right. Ms. Davis? Yes, follow-up questions?
That was a second.
Oh, okay. All right. Any other follow-up questions or concerns? All right. All in favor of approving the resolution to enact the redistricting map as we have them here, if you would raise your hands and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same signs? And any abstaining? All right, we will move, that motion carries. We'll move forward to item 12.2, and this is the action to create an ad hoc committee for the purposes we discussed last week, but recognizing individuals who have contributed significantly to the board. And we have, I think, 4 people, but Mr. Davis, if I'm understanding you correctly, you are removing yourself from that committee, or, okay. And so that leaves Ms. Davis. Remind me of the other 2. I'm sorry.
I was one and
Dr. Maddox and was it Ms. Gallagher? Okay.
Ms. Gallagher.
So those are our 3. Reverting back to last week, I'm making up stuff now. But those are our 3 individuals. And so the floor is open for a motion for the creation of that ad hoc committee.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Dr. Maddox, a second by Ms. Hull. Any follow-up questions? Yes.
So our policy says that for ad hoc committees, we will state the length of the committee, the objectives of the committee, and give some guidance. Does that come after the committee is established, or will that be a part of the establishment of this committee?
I think we shared that. If I'm not mistaken, that information was shared regarding the length. We mentioned it last week as well. Instead of, I think originally I mentioned stopping in January or February. I think we extended it a month because we delayed it. And so that information has already been determined.
I'm afraid I missed that whole conversation.
Okay, and I can resend it to you. I think you actually shared it with the board on my behalf as well, but I'm happy to resend that to the committee.
I did. or someone else?
I think you did the night that I was gone,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
then
so it came in that's where we got the guidance.
yes,
Well, you don't need to send it to me then.
yes, and we mentioned it last
I'll
week
go
as
back
well.
to that work session date and I will find it. So don't send it again. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Any additional follow-up or clarifications? All right. All in favor of approving the ad hoc committee, if you would raise your hands and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstaining? All right. We are at item 13. And this is executive session. And so the floor is open for a motion to enter into executive session to discuss or deliberate upon the appointment, employment, compensation, hiring, disciplinary action or dismissal, or periodic evaluation or rating of a public officer or employee, or to interview applicants for the position of superintendent. The floor is open.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Davis, a second by Dr. Anderson, I think it was. There are no questions and concerns. All in favor of entering into executive session for that stated reason, if you would raise your hands and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and any abstaining? All right, so that motion carries. We are entering into executive session at 7:12 p.m.
It's a miracle.